to be like boho moody.
I still want to do some stuff in the living room.
That's your whole house curse. 90% of everything in this house we have thrifted. We had a path to the thrift store.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Our Upcycled Life podcast. My name is Kirsten.
And I'm Deidre.
And we haven't done an episode in a while.
No, everyone has been with the holidays and traveling, and I have big news too. We haven't had a chance to kind of sit and chat, so it feels good to be back at it.
Yeah, it was just we had a couple episodes recorded right before the holidays, and we kind of went through Christmas, and I went home back to your place for Christmas and did that whole family thing. And then after Christmas, a lot happened. So then we got very busy and very unorganized to an extent, but also just kind of started focusing on other things. So we weren't able to do an episode, but we're back and we're going to try to do them more regularly. So why don't we start by sharing your big news?
My big news. So my husband and I, James, have been tiny living since 2013. And in the last 2 years, we have had 2 grandbabies born, Bodhi and Carmen. And they're now 2 under 2. And when you were coming to visit, we had nowhere for you to be comfortable with the babies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we put an offer in on a house at the end of October, and we ended up getting it. And we have gone from tiny living to a big spot.
much bigger spot.
Bigger home. We have 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. And it is so exciting because when everyone comes to visit, we have lots of room and we're going to create so many great memories with all the grandkids here. But it is also very 90s and very dated. So that means that we have all kinds of projects, lots of projects that we're going to be filming and lots of stuff to upcycle. So lots of great content coming, lots of inspiration from our new house that we just bought.
And so the new house that you just bought, it's like an old brick, well, not, it's 90s, it's not like old, but old brick farmhouse that is on a pretty big lot. So that's exciting because you also have all of that area that you can build trails in and stuff. And you live outside of Ottawa, you live in a really small town. So there are still opportunities to get houses like that you can kind of buy and renovate and make new, and you kind of were able to jump on that opportunity, which is really exciting. And I remember seeing video of it when you first bought it because I wasn't there. And by the time that you had closed on the house and everyone was coming for Christmas, which was how many days again?
10.
So in 10 days, the house it needed a lot of work. Like it needed a lot of cleaning. It needed, and
it wasn't structurally bad. It was just dated 90s, not baby proofed, and needed to be cleaned and organized.
And had no furniture in it because you were going from like 800 square feet to a whole house, and you needed to have beds and couches and more beds and dining room tables and kitchen tables and high chairs and all that stuff. And by the time I got there for Christmas, which it was going to be me, my husband, my son, my brother, his wife, their daughter, and then James's son, his girlfriend, and James's dad, all of us were staying there for Christmas.
Yeah.
And by the time we got there, it looked like you had lived in it for a year. Like it was a feat.
James and I went 100 miles an hour. We were at the thrift store. We had a path to the thrift store because this house, and you'll see as we go along and we're kind of documenting it, 90% of everything in this house we have thrifted.
Mhm.
And we had a path to the thrift store and back. Okay, we need this. We need this. We need this. And we got some beautiful stuff at amazing prices. And we've set the house up really nice. And we're still battling with some of that baby blue walls, the
Yeah,
paint.
because they were all the walls were this, like, 90s kinda, like, sky baby blue color.
Yeah, I think we're down to like the last couple of rooms of getting rid of that, and that's made a huge difference. But it has been an adventure, and it has been exciting, and yeah, it's been good.
So when you've been decorating your house and when you've been looking at thrifting, um, furniture and because you were truly starting from scratch, what is your decor inspiration and how has it changed from where you were living to where you are now?
Bigger pieces,
Yeah.
bigger furniture. We have a king size bed where we've
Mhm.
never been able to have that in the spot that we were at, which is fantastic. It is so nice. And just being able to thrift beautiful pieces of furniture and have a place to put it and showcase it that we haven't had together. So that's been really nice.
What's your favorite room so far?
My dining room.
Yeah, that is
I've
nice.
I know. I've done a formal dining room because I found a beautiful dining room set that was 2 hutches, table, a buffet, very antique. And it came from, a home where the owner had passed away and the family had just cleaned the house out, and
An
it
estate sale.
an estate sale, yeah, and it all went to the thrift store.
Mm.
And so I was able to get all of these pieces for, oh my goodness, it was like around $200 for
Wow.
everything, and it is gorgeous. Huge, huge, the big feet, and, stay tuned for a video because I'm gonna do a before and after of that room with it, but that's been the fun part is being able to pick up these big, beautiful pieces and be able to put them in a home and showcase them and fix them up. Like, everything needed a little TLC that we bought at the thrift store,
Mhm.
scratches on them, and, just kind of putting some wood polish on stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like your decor has kind of went from that bright farmhouse, maybe
Yeah.
like spring vibes to more
Yeah.
like fall, warm, dark academia,
Moody.
moody. Mhm.
Yeah. I kind of have felt like that too. And I've been drawn to more, I don't even know if it's a thing because I don't find like I really have a style, but because my house is kind of a mixture of all kinds of different things. I still have a little bit of farmhouse, but I kind of like, is it a thing to be like boho moody?
I don't know, you'll have to Pinterest it.
That's
Boho
kind of what I'm
moody.
I'm doing, like that dark green wicker, but then have the big wooden pieces of furniture. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, you can put a bunch of different keywords together and call it your style, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we're having lots of fun.
Yeah, and we've already started doing videos on, certain pieces that you've thrifted and upcycled for your house,
Yep.
and we'll do some more that are focused on specific rooms, so you'll have to watch and see kinda
Yeah.
how this space transformed, and then maybe at the end, you can do a whole
Full
tour?
tour. Yeah. So next week we have a bathroom makeover coming out.
Mhm.
That was a fun one because everything, and I think a lot of people probably remember, especially my age in the 90s, the cabinets that had the oak pulls on them.
Yep.
They were really like the white laminate with the oak pulls. They were really
Mhm.
popular.
The, like, inset oak poles.
Inset, yeah. So I did a little spin on those cupboards in our last bathroom makeover, and I love the way that it turned out. So that one will be coming out next week.
Yeah, I like the way that one turned out too, because it was a very simple fix, but it immediately made it look so much better.
Yeah.
And, anyone who has that kinda style cabinet, I think, can do this really easy. So you'll
Which
wanna
is a
watch that.
lot of people, and a lot of people just think that they don't have the ability to do much with them, other than rip them out and put new cabinets in it, and this video really showcases how simple it is to, like, completely change it over. at
Yeah, and that
for a fraction of a price.
yeah, that whole space was like once it was done, it was completely different. You
Yeah.
know what? I will say the only thing that I think I would have done in that room, which you kind of touched on it and people see at the end of the video, is the floor. I think you
Yeah.
could have done a really funky like peel and stick tile floor.
Which I think I probably will do,
Mhm.
but and you know, because you because we talk every day, like, it's so much. It's so much because 'cause we're doing it ourselves,
Yeah.
and, it's like it's I think I just need to, like I find myself going into one room, and I'm not allowed to leave that room. I mean, making it over until it's
Yeah.
completely finished from top to bottom, everything done, and then I go to the next space because it's been so easy to get overwhelmed. And you're right. I mean, I looked at that bathroom makeover and I was like, ah, man, that would have been really nice to do a
You like
floor in there.
a check black and white checkerboard floor. Yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, or
Well,
even
maybe
just
you'll
paint the floor like that. I don't know. I've never done that. I've never painted linoleum.
mm,
But that
uh,
might be a follow-up video,
mhm,
fixing the
of
floor.
how you did because you could do a whole video on the floor,
Yeah,
and it would just because now I feel like the floor doesn't match, which they'll see when they watch the video, like,
yeah, yeah,
you would have never noticed, like, you go in and whatever, but,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm actually debating doing it in my bathroom because I have now that I'm kind of out of that first year with having a baby, will have some time back, and we moved into our house when I was 7 months pregnant. So, I kind of had no say in A, how everything got packed up, and B, how everything was dispersed throughout the house, which is unusual
yeah,
whenever we move. So, I picked away at it over the year, but now I'm like, okay, now that I have time, now that we're out of this, our schedule is a little bit more consistent. I want to start actually decorating my house. So the first room I picked, and I rent, so everything has to be kind of renter friendly.
yeah,
So the first room I picked was my bathroom, and I'm in the same position where my house is 90s,
yeah.
like
Yes, it
late
is.
80s, 90s. It was renovated a little bit. Um, but not that much. And also, again, I have these blue walls, which I don't know if I can paint. I don't like them. So
Yeah,
the issue I'm running into is I also like that darker, warmer, moody color, but I'm forced to deal with blue walls.
blue. Yes.
So, so my bathroom is the same way. So I had to find a kind of like coastal boho vibe for my bathroom.
Yeah,
And long story short, I did like a whole peel and stick wall, added and above the toilet kind of bamboo. What are those called? The uh, like
like
where
just
you
a
open
shelf
it.
behind your toilet.
Yeah, like something like a medicine cabinet,
Yeah,
the freestanding medicine cabinet with
yeah,
added some plants, and I also wanted to do a floor,
yeah,
but I also haven't done it yet. So maybe we
yeah.
can both do floors. And now I feel like I have to show my before and after pictures
I
of
know, we should do
my
that.
bathroom,
Actually,
but
and I for people that don't know, so I'm in Ontario, Canada, and Kirsten's in BC, Canada, which if you look at a map, she's completely on the other side of the country. So
mhm.
a lot of these things, if we were closer, we would work on these projects together. But maybe when I go to visit in the spring,
Maybe when you go to visit, we can pick a room
yep, and do a
and we can
makeover.
redo it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely still need my bedroom. The nursery I've got pretty well done. I did focus on that. When he moved into the nursery, I kind of focused on that and did like a woodland theme. So that one's done. But I also still want to do some stuff in the living room. I also want to do like an office.
that's your whole house cursed.
No, my kitchen's decent. My
Yeah, your
kitchen is
kitchen's
okay.
nice. Yeah.
But that's because
And
I
you know,
spend
it's
so
one
much
of
time
those
in it.
things where anybody that is like doing some makeovers or doing renos, I find like we were just talking about before, you have to just pick one space and completely do it from start to finish and then move on to your next project because otherwise it just gets so overwhelming and you're living in chaos every day because not every portion of your room is finished. So, That's a really good tip.
Well, and you're just buying random things all the time and,
Yeah.
like, storing them away,
Yeah.
and then you don't know what to do with them, and then you've wasted money because maybe you've impulse purchased something on Amazon, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same position where we went from an apartment to a house.
Yeah.
So we went from having no storage, to having a full garage. So it has been an exercise in patience to not buy stuff and just hold it in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
We'll get
definitely
there. And you're coming home soon. You're going to be here for Easter this year, so we'll have lots. You can help me out with my one of my makeovers.
we should do an in-person podcast when I'm there for Easter. Maybe a couple because I'm going to be there for a while, I
Yeah,
think.
that's a good idea. We'll do that. Yeah, that'd
Mhm.
be fun.
We can do because, and we won't say anything right now, but we do have a very exciting news that will be revealed soon,
Yeah.
which is the reason I'm coming home for Easter. So if
Yes.
we can reveal it before we come home, then maybe we can do a behind the scenes podcast on what we're doing, how everything's going, and what to
Yes.
look out for.
Good idea. That's an
Mhm.
amazing idea. But yeah, we got big things coming in the very near future. So
Yes, yes.
make sure if you haven't hit subscribe on our channel, make sure you do. So
Yeah,
you don't
because
miss out on anything.
and lots of new videos, lots of the same stuff that you've always loved, the thrifting, upcycling, but brand new projects, different type of style than maybe what you normally done. That's kind of more on that modern edge that I think people will really like. And yeah, like you said, bigger projects. Like you're
Yeah.
focusing on,
Yeah.
big cabinets and stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, Aside from all this news, people might have seen, which is kind of this is more on the bad news end, but stuff that
Yes.
we've been dealing with, which is also why we haven't done a ton of podcasts, is your Facebook ordeal.
Yeah, which is I'm still really upset about it. Really, I have a whole lot of emotions about it.
Mm-hmm.
Still a month and a half later, I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate through it. But the beginning of January, my Facebook page got hacked
Mm-hmm.
and I had almost 740,000 followers on
Mm-hmm.
that page. And I woke up one morning and I couldn't log into my account. It was gone.
Your business or your personal.
Both
Mm-hmm.
were gone. And in the middle of the night, sometime, I had got an email saying somebody had tried to sign in, and of course, it
Mm-hmm.
was the middle of the night when we were sleeping, so I couldn't say no, it's not me. And in that time frame, the hackers had been able to get into the back end of my channel and change all the passwords, take me completely off my account, and disable me from everything. And it's been sad. It's been really sad because I have so many followers over there on Facebook that were supporting me, loved my content, and probably don't even know where I've went or what has happened because I couldn't even go on and say, here I am. Here's my new page. It was just poof, I was gone. My
Yeah.
page is still there,
Mm-hmm.
so people can go back and see my older videos. But the problem is the people that hacked into my Facebook have recently put up other videos on my page that are not relevant to what I do at all. I've had a couple people reach out and say, "Hey, what's going on? Why are you posting this stuff?" And I can't do anything about it. Nothing.
Yeah. The only thing you could do was go on to your other channels and say, hey, this has happened, but you had so many people on there and that was the largest platform that you had. Like your YouTube is the most influential, but Facebook is the largest platform and it had double the amount of people that were on your YouTube. So the only like it's not like those messages on your other platforms are reaching everyone. And it was also just like it's not the same, I guess, but it just kind of is like that icky feeling when you feel like someone's been in your house. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
an invasion of privacy that just didn't feel good.
Yeah. So what's happened since then is trying to get anything resolved with Meta is virtually impossible.
Mhm.
Um, I was able to get a case number uh, for my account, but that was a month ago. And
Yeah.
I've been sending emails every week with the case number asking for an update, and I've gotten no response whatsoever from anyone on it. Um,
Which I guess there is some hope because a lot of people don't even have anyone from Meta ever reach out. So the
yeah,
fact that they did and said that they are working on it is hope and it might eventually come back.
yeah.
But at this point, we just have to wait and see because there's nothing you can do.
No, there's absolutely nothing that we can do. And the other thing that's happening, and it's kind of upsetting too, is my page was monetized, so I was
Mhm.
making money off of it. It was part of our whole business, and that was completely taken away, which hurts.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, you've got a portion of that money that you're relying on, and you're working really hard doing videos, and then you're not, and then it's just all gone. And that income, it's like losing your. I lost a job,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and there's nothing you can do about it. So I I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just going to keep trying and I'm going to try and get it back, but I don't know how much effort I can put into a new page because it took me years to build that platform up. And also, do you want to work with a company that has no customer support? That's like, you know, buying something from a store and not really liking the product because it was not a good product and taking it back and wanting your money back, and they tell you the door is locked,
Yeah.
and they say, you know, nobody answers the phone, nobody. That's what's kind of happening with Facebook, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. I mean, I have opinions. I probably shouldn't say
Yeah,
them.
I know. Yeah.
But I agree. And being that we have worked with lots of different platforms, there is definitely a difference that we see between one over the other in terms of how helpful they are, how they guide you through everything, what support is available to you. It's just very obvious. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. We're trying to navigate it. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do, next steps. If you get your page back, that'd be great. We'll
Yeah.
just kind of, and it's not like we were not putting the amount of effort we're putting on YouTube on Facebook. It was just
No.
something that like it provided an additional income and then it also provided a way to connect with more people and
Yeah. Yeah, and
so,
if actually this is a great time, if there's anybody out there that's listening to this podcast and has any advice or any leads on fixing something like this, or reaching or having a person that they have a contact to at Meta that could help us out, reach out and let us know, because we're hitting walls everywhere that we go, and we're not getting anywhere with it, and that would be helpful. And the other thing is I know I have a lot of content creators and we follow each other on the
mhm,
different platforms. So if you're a content creator and you're listening or watching this podcast, do not put all of your eggs in one basket.
mhm,
Diversify, have a newsletter, have some sort of presence on every platform, because I am a prime example of how you can wake up one morning and one of the main portions of your business is gone. And if that was the only thing that I was focusing on, my whole business was gone.
yeah,
So I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I had Facebook, I have a newsletter, I have my Patreon. I don't know if there's anything else. I'm sure there is. I have a community group on Facebook. Uh, just don't rely on one platform. Make sure you're diversified, and that's so important as a content creator.
yeah, and have your security set up, have two-step verification on, like
Yeah, yeah,
all of that important stuff and it was a learning experience for us. It was a reminder to just keep doing what we're doing in terms of diversifying, having multiple access points to your base of people that want to watch your content. And yeah, we'll just onward and upward from here. But that was a big hit at the beginning of the year, which
It was
was
a big,
one
big
of the
hit,
main reasons
and
why we didn't focus on this.
yeah, and thinking back, and I know between you and I had a hard time with it, like a really
Hmm.
hard time with it, and I still have like, I'll be working away, and I've just got that panic of like, oh man, like that was so much work, and it's just all gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we
Yeah.
have a beautiful community on YouTube.
Hmm.
Beautiful community, very supportive. We have an amazing newsletter that we were actually able had we've had thousands of people from Facebook that signed up on to our newsletter. So we
Hmm.
have a lot of people that we were able before we lost our page that we got on our newsletter to keep them updated. So lots of positive things.
Hmm. And there is lots of exciting things coming up. Like we tease something that is a big thing coming up that we can't talk about yet,
Yeah.
but we will let people know. And your content is just getting better and bigger. And hopefully, people will enjoy watching it
Yep.
more because we're kind of tweaking with some editing stuff and some filming stuff and the type of things you're filming. So that's exciting. Plus, this podcast, which is like it's still fairly new and we're still figuring out what we want it to look and sound like. But yeah, there's lots of exciting things to look forward to. That was a setback,
Yep.
but we're moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anything else? I don't think there was anything else. What else is new? I think that's
I
about
don't know.
it.
I'm just, yeah, I feel like we are coming out of the winter depression,
Yep.
which has been nice. It is sunny here right now, so that's nice to see. And yeah, I feel like January is always like, oh, new year, like set all these goals. And I never feel that way in January. It
Hmm.
just feels like hibernation mode to me.
Hmm.
And it's around spring and it's around this time where you start to see things growing again and you start to think about what you can do outside. And then you're like, okay, now I'm feeling motivated to do stuff.
Yeah. And you're in BC, so you don't get the extreme winter weather like we have gotten here. Like we have gotten a lot of snow, a lot of dark days. So yeah, we're rooting for spring.
Hmm. I looked out my front door and I have like just a little garden outside my front door with perennials. What are the ones that come back every year?
Yeah, perennials.
Perennials. Perennial plants in them. And I looked and I have tulips starting already.
Hmm.
So I have little tiny things and then also little tiny purple flowers coming up already.
They're called crocus.
Oh, what's a crocus?
Crocus, little purple flowers.
So they're not a tulip.
That's not too, well, it could be, but the picture that you sent me was a crocus.
Oh, well then I have crocuses coming up.
But you're also like a full month and a half ahead of us for spring. So,
Yeah, well, and we even went. It was really nice last weekend, and we went to. We have a really nice kind of pebbly beach by where we are. It's about a 10-minute drive, and it's on the Pacific Ocean. So if anyone is a geography nerd, we're on the Pacific Ocean, and if you see across where we are, you'll see Vancouver Island. So it's like that kind of channel. And
I think if you
there's
said you're not far from Seattle.
correct, yeah, just
Yeah,
up
so
from
that's a
Seattle.
good landmark to know for, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we have a beach on the Pacific Ocean. It's really nice. We went and in the winter you can have bonfires there.
Mm,
And you can't in the summer because of burn bans because it gets really dry. But in the winter and early spring and sometimes early summer, depending on how much it's rained, you can have like just a full on bonfire at the beach. So we did that last weekend. Where was I going with this story?
spring, seasonal depression.
Oh, on the way to the beach, there was a tree that had full bloomed cherry blossoms already.
Really?
Yeah, like full bloom. And that's like 'cause the cherry blossoms in Vancouver are like people come to see them. Like, it's because
Yeah.
streets are lined with cherry blossoms, and it's so beautiful. And it's always like mid-March,
Yeah.
depending on how late the spring is when they start to bloom, and then they go, and it's a couple weeks, like mid-March, end March, into April.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it, like full bloom cherry blossom.
That's really weird. I wonder why.
I have
Because
no
that's
idea.
early.
I know, and it does kind of scare me a little bit because it's like we live in where we are, it's a very weird climate because it is technically a rainforest.
Right.
So it rains and rains and rains, and everything is very wet but very green, and it's a Pacific Northwest rainforest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't rain that much in the summer, so then it gets very dry, and then we have the potential for wildfires.
Yeah. Yeah. Big
So
potential.
yeah, so anytime I see where things are like really early for spring, you're like, oh, it hasn't rained that much, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be hot and dry this summer. But
Yeah. Mm.
that's what you get for living here. And also, we had an earthquake last
I
week
was just
too.
going to say, you had a big earthquake. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't home for the big one. We were in more interior BC because my husband was working. But yeah, we had people texting us being like, "Are you okay?" And we were like, "What are you talking about? What?" And they said, "Did you not feel the earthquake?" And the epicenter of the earthquake was only 30 minutes from our house,
Yeah.
and it wasn't very deep. And I had a friend text me and say that their whole house shook, and she like ran underneath the because you're supposed to go under a door frame,
Yeah. Yeah.
ran underneath that, and she said it sounded like a jet was taking off above her house. And she said if that was a 4 point, what I think it was 5.1 is what it ended up being.
Yeah.
She said if that was 5.1 and that wasn't the big earthquake, like I never want to experience.
Wow.
Kind of freaky,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's
Wild.
beautiful, and we live by the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, that was a nice chat.
Nice chat. We're gonna try to do these more often,
Yeah.
and yeah, this was our Upcycled Life podcast. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. And make sure you head over to the channel from here and see if you've missed any videos, get caught up, and we will chat in the next podcast.
Awesome.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.